One of the most satisfying things about the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise is all the lore that has helped us to tie these games together. Now granted, the lore isn't perfect, and there still appear to be a lot of holes, but this is what makes each moment so much more exciting when we do find another piece of the puzzle, and something new is revealed to help us solve the mystery of FNAF lore even more as time goes on. That rhymed. Welcome back, my fellow gamers. This is Top 10 Gaming and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Today we're going to be reliving some of those wow moments we had with the games, and maybe even the books, as we count down the top 10 scariest FNAF lore moments. And if you love FNAF and want even more FNAF content, be sure to check out our Five Nights at Freddy's playlist over here for even more scary moments and facts. Scary facts moments. Number 10. The Fate of Charlie. Through the minigames we have learned that the puppet is another animatronic possessed by a spirit. It seems that the puppet is actually possessed by the soul of Charlie, Henry's daughter, although this is a little confusing if we're factoring in what we know of Charlie from the books to try and tie that into one timeline. But if we just ignore the timeline part of it for now, which with FNAF I think is usually best, Charlie was Henry's daughter, a strong and independent girl who was killed during a visit to Freddy's restaurant, trapped outside, possibly having an allergic reaction and tragically dying out in the rain. Her spirit then went into a nearby animatronic which happened to be the puppet. Number 9. Bite of 83/87? You decide which year it is. One of the most horrific and graphic revelations when we actually got to see one of, or potentially the only bite from the 80s revealed in FNAF 4. In a minigame, we see the crying child tormented by his older siblings and their friends. The young boy is celebrating a birthday at Freddy's and is frightened of the animatronics. Knowing this, his older brother makes him stand next to the Fredbear animatronic and then even puts his younger brother's head inside the animatronic's mouth. That is not safe, making his brother give the animatronic a big kiss. However, the animatronic malfunctions and his teeth and jaws clamp down on the boy's head, crushing his skull and, as we learn later, killing him. Some believe this should be known as the Bite of 83 due to an advertisement seen in the minigame from 1983, whereas others think the bite lines up too closely with what we know of the 1987 incident, the Bite of 87, for it to be a coincidence. What do you think? Which bite is this? Or are they both one and the same bite? Number 8. Stitch Wraith. In the FNAF books, we have learned about the mysterious figure known as the Stitch Wraith, which sounds like it could resemble perhaps Ennard, but apparently is kind of its own thing. Stitch Wraith has yet to appear in the games, but is still horrifying and pretty important to the lore nonetheless. It was brought to life using the souls of two children combined with the powerful emotion of agony or suffering. In the Fazbear Fright books, it has shown up in each book, appearing during the end of each one of the stories there, and appears to be collecting haunted animatronics parts for what we can only imagine is some kind of dark and sinister reason. Of course, what we'd really like to know is to what purpose is Stitch Wraith amassing its collection. Number 7. The Fate of Elizabeth Afen. Sister Location in my mind was one of the biggest for lore moments because it just gave us so many important revelations. It and Pizzeria Simulator for me are really the standout games for lore moments. In Sister Location, it's implied and sort of revealed that William Afton had a daughter, Elizabeth. He made the animatronic circus baby for his daughter, but apparently would not let Elizabeth play with baby because he felt it was just too dangerous. This was likely because he'd made it to basically be a murder bot, or because he knew it just could be potentially dangerous and it could malfunction. I don't know why, of course, you'd make a murder bot for your daughter, but hey, I don't think any of us have ever thought William would stand a chance at winning any awards for parenting, am I right? Elizabeth manages to sneak away from her father and the other children, finding herself alone with Circus Baby, who, as expected, murders her, luring her with ice cream. Sweet, sweet ice cream. Elizabeth's soul then becomes trapped in Circus Baby, changing Baby's eye color from blue to green. Number 6. Michael Afton becomes Mike Schmidt. During Sister Location, you play as Elizabeth's brother, Michael Afton, aka Eggs Benedict, as you become nicknamed by the malfunctioning hand unit. In the Sister Location minigames and during the main game that is Sister Location, we learn of your fate as Michael Afton after you are scooped out by Ennard during the true ending. Ennard remains with you, but we later find out as Michael's exterior continues to rot as time goes on, Ennard eventually leaves Michael, being vomited up by him during the minigames where we see him become more and more rotten and eventually fully purple. Circus Baby, however, tells you even without any insides that you won't die, and somehow, miraculously, Mike Afton comes back to life. just like that. It's then theorized that Michael Afen after this point became Mike Schmidt, changing his name and becoming the other Michael that we come to know as the protagonist in FNAF 1. Number 5. Remnant. Considering that the revelation of the importance of Remnant was also attached to the scooper we saw used in Circus Baby's entertainment and rental in FNAF's sister location, the substance itself is involved in a pretty scary and important lore moment. Remnant also appears in Special Delivery and is used there to power up your animatronics, in a sense, giving them life. It seems to be the life essence of the animatronics in the games. Based on what we know from the games, this implies that Remnant is basically a soul or a collection of souls, but in the books it's even implied that Remnant could be created out of intense distilled emotions, such as primarily suffering and agony. Number 4. Serial Killer. Throughout FNAF 1, it's hinted that something awful happened at Freddy's. Well, actually, a lot of things that were awful happened at Freddy's, and it's later revealed that one of those awful things was a bunch of children that went missing. You later find out that these children didn't just go missing, but were murdered by none other than William Afen, dun dun dun, who is of course the inventor of these animatronics. Of course, we're still not sure exactly why William killed these kids, but the fact remains that he is the serial killer responsible, and it's even believed that helping to create the franchise and its animatronics was his own crazy way of creating his own horrific killing ground. Number 3. Springtrap. One of the more shocking reveals was when we find out the fate of William Afen following the murders. He returned to Freddy's planning to dismantle the animatronics he'd built, but the spirits of the children he had murdered returned, hell-bent on getting their revenge. Terrified, William ran away and found the faulty Spring Bonnie model to hide in, knowing that the animatronics would not recognize him as a threat if he was also hiding in an animatronic suit. This part of his plan of course worked out, but due to William laughing at the thought of his own victory, which really he probably should have waited until the animatronics were gone, and due to water leaking onto the spring locks, the locks gave way, impaling William and killing him within the suit. His own soul then became trapped within that suit, as did his corpse, giving us the terrifying antagonist for FNAF 3, Spring Bonnie, the only animatronic in that game who could actually kill you, because all the other ones were just hallucinations or ghosts. Number 2. Freeing the souls. At the end of Pizzeria Simulator, we learn that we have unknowingly been running the pizzeria for a greater purpose that was previously unknown to us. Our boss, who we suspect to be Henry, which was William Afton's partner, has hired us, Michael Afen, as the manager of this pizzeria so that we would lure in all the evil and possessed animatronics. Once all gathered, our boss reveals that now it's time to end the cycle of bloodshed and let go and move on from the tragedies tied to Freddy's franchise. He urges the animatronics there, including a version of Circus Baby and William Afton's Springtrap, to be still and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. Thus seemingly ending the murderous rampage of so many villains that we'd known, and in theory ending his own life as he is nearby, and the life of you, the manager, Michael Afen, when he burns the pizzeria to the ground. Number 1. Glitch Trap. During FNAF VR Help Wanted, we learned about the fact that somehow William Afen was still able to survive through an animatronics chip being scanned into the Help Wanted game, used to help create realistic replicas of the old animatronics. Somehow, this allowed some part of Afen to manifest, becoming a malicious code that was unable to be deleted. Help Wanted is such a meta game. It's games and games, and these games, this is a game in the world, but it's also a game in our world. What's real? What's reality? I don't know. So, even though William Afen was burned down with the rest of the animatronics in Pizzeria Simulator, we learn in Help Wanted that he somehow has managed to survive, and has managed to even recruit someone to potentially aid him in escaping the confines of his digital prison. It's more than likely that we'll learn even more about Glitch Trap in FNAF 8 Security Breach. Thank you so much for watching. What are some of your favorite lore moments? Which revelations did you find the most startling and game-changing? See what I did there? Which game do you think is the most lore-filled? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Perfect Tom Nook Schemes. Mitt Flake Productions comments, Tom Nook? Oh, you want to comment? That'll be 50,000 bells! Man, you'd have to shake a lot of trees just to comment once on Animal Crossing YouTube if Nook Inc. was running it. Frosty Owl writes, I literally just started playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. Oh my gosh, I hope you're liking it so far. If this is your first Animal Crossing, remember that you can hit rocks multiple times with your shovel to mine more than one resource out of that rock, and make sure you leave space behind buildings when you're placing construction sites. I have played many games and yet I even forgot that during New Horizons, so I'm just reminding you. Knockout Starscream says, I haven't played New Horizons yet, but my favorite Animal Crossing character is Peanut. She's just so cute. Oh boy, I also love Peanut. And I love Lucky, and I love Marina. They're all so cute. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and feel shouted out in a future video. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to keep on gaming on. Pew pew!